Behind home plate, we bringing it to them all day. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Win or lose, we bringing it to you always. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Orange or black, we rebuild the pack. No matter where we at, you know we coming back. Section 336, we on this, so tune in. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Yeah, welcome to Birdland. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Now, here come the boys from Section 336.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Baltimore sports fans of all ages, welcome to Section 336, next generation of Baltimore sports talk. I'm your endearing center host, Matt Soroka. As always, I'm joined by the button lover, Josh Soroka. Hey, Josh.
Hey. I'm glad we took a couple days to kind of let the trade settle.
Yeah, as it settled for you, I find myself, I was last night while Emily was sleeping, I'm in bed, and I can't stop thinking about it. I go to work. This has been the most unproductive 3 days professionally, I think, in my career. I can't stop thinking about it. Prior to the show, not prior to the show, in prepping for the show a couple of days ago, I thought we were going to do it. I started to write down some notes. I now just have 3 pages of just rambling notes all about just the Adley Rutschman trade.
The
Trying to process this.
The Adley Rutschman trade has taken me both ways, where I've changed my mind so many times about that.
Yeah, half my comments contradict one another.
Exactly.
That I wrote.
I can take myself out of it, but then I can't. So I go back and forth with, I like the trade. This is a ridiculous trade. This is the end of the organization. I'm glad I don't have season tickets. Oh, we'll be okay. It's so bipolar, my notes.
Yeah. The overwhelming emotion for me is not even anger towards Mike Elias or towards ownership or whatever. To be honest, I'm still kind of depressed about it. And I don't think it's the end of everything with the Orioles. I don't think we're going full rebuild. But I'm depressed. I'm depressed for what trading Adley represents and for what happened to this rebuild.
Oh, I'm 100% with you there, where I'm not angry. I am sad. I am disappointed. I am at the stage of we can never have good things in Baltimore. Like, will we ever see the Orioles win a World Series? Because Adley was the face of that rebuild.
Josh, and if you go back, I just can't stop thinking. I was going back. Okay, so he's drafted.
And this is why we've delayed the podcast.
He's drafted in 2020. Mike Elias comes in. His first draft takes Adley and Gunnar, right? And then we're still like, that's peak tanking, right? So 2021, he's in the minors. I got my Iron Birds Adley Rutschman shirt. I also have a Delmarva Shorebirds and a Bowie Bay Sox shirt because I watched him at every step in the minors.
Yes.
I mean, in 2021 and 2020, we cared more about the minor leagues than we did about the major league team, with good reason. Yes. And then 2022, he makes his debut. And from the moment he steps on the field and he kind of takes his helmet off and looks around, and he is hits a triple in line with Machado and in time with Wieters for a debut triple. And they go, well, this is it. And it is it, Josh, because the next year in 2023, Gunnar makes an appearance and we win 100 games.
Yes.
We win the AAL East. And Gunnar makes his arrival, and Jordan Westberg makes his arrival.
Multiple All-Stars that year.
Yes, Kyle Bradish is awesome. He kind of jumped on the scene.
Right.
And we're like, and they're all young players. Like, there's a bunch of kids out there.
We thought we were going to dominate for years.
Yes, and then 2024 happens, and again, we win 90 games. We finish second place. Adley is not quite as good as he was the year before, but Adley's still good. And that's when Gunnar kind of goes off and has an insane year in 2024,
right.
And we win 90 games. So at this point, our conversation as Orioles fans is, and we're talking about this in terms of Mike Elias, not just like what do we need to do to get in the playoffs, but what do we need to do to get in the World Series? And any criticism of Mike Elias was not about playoffs. It's about, is he willing to push all his chips to go to the World Series? Because it wasn't assumed at the end of 2024, it was assumed that the Orioles are going to be in the playoffs in 25 and 26, 27, 28. It was assumed.
Yeah. Well, what was similar in 2024 and 2025 and now in 2026 is we always also then talked about the injuries and how this team has all the potential, but they keep getting struck with injuries at the wrong time.
Yeah. And, well, 2025 happens, and there's a tons of injuries to our pitching staff.
Well,
you look at our pitching.
Batista went down the end of 2024. So we had that whole, if we had Batista.
Well, and Bradish too, because Bradish
yes.
only showed up
You're
he only pitched like 5 games at the end. And so if you have those back, and then and Jackson Hollidy's okay. You seem he's going to progress. Gunner's not quite as good, but the Gunner's still one of the best shortstops in the game. And then you also have this crop. Remember, we traded Stowers because we had too many outfielders who were really good.
Yeah.
Right. Kerstedt was about to be here. And of course, we had Dylan Beavers on the way up. And we just had this plethora of outfielders. And everything looked so bright. And then you're right. Some 2025 injuries and some regressions. And then you think, well, that was just a weird down year. Like, that's just bizarre. So let's run it back in 2026.
Yeah, go back to our 2026 preseason show as we were making our predictions. We think we're running away with this thing.
Yeah, and to Elias's credit for 2026, he addresses the offense by bringing in Alonso and Ward. He addresses the pitching by bringing in Baz. All right, we have people coming back from injury like Bradish. He addresses the closure situation with Helsley. So, all right, we have those injuries. He addressed them.
Yeah.
We have these young players who had down years last year. They'll bounce back this year, and let's go. But it just hasn't happened. Gunner hit his peak at 22.
Well, I hope not, but maybe so.
Well, so far, this is his best year. And the young players haven't developed like we thought they would. We've Jordan Westberg's been plagued by injuries. A lot of injuries to Adley this year. But it's just amazing how set up we were to kind of dominate the AL East and make the playoffs. If you look at 2023 and 2024,
yes.
And how quickly, that's just 2024 feels like 10 years ago. Just 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, we were thinking this is going to be a freaking perennial playoff team. And now it feels like, what scenario is there that we can actually make the playoffs?
Now it feels like we failed. And it's like, and it's not even like Adley's been hurt a bunch this year. So you take that away and you look at the team on the field and it's not that much different. And it's like, this team can still win, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels like trading Adley means the rebuild's a failure, which it doesn't mean that. We still have other parts. And I think back to one thing Mike Elias said at the beginning that bugged us when Mike Elias first came on board. Was he didn't say, I want to bring a World Series to Baltimore. He said, I want to be competitive every year. And I feel a little bit like the Adley trade is that competitive every year, is looking beyond 2027 and saying, when I can't re-sign Adley, when I can't re-sign Gunner, I still need reserves in here. I still need to stay competitive. But it's hard to look at that now when we haven't won a playoff game yet, as with Mike Elias.
Right. And listening to Mike Elias's comments, he sound to me as shocked as anybody that this thing hasn't worked out. Right? Because he did the process.
Yeah.
He drafted the right guys. They showed all the signs of promise. And then Colton Cowser, Gunnar Henderson, Adley all went through these regression periods. And it's like, I think from Mike Elias' perspective, he's like, I made all the right moves.
Right.
Except this freaking thing is harder than it looks because due to injuries, which is a legit thing, that side relish, and kind of just people not being as good as they first were and just kind of regressing has led to kind of where we are.
Right. So there's so many ways to go about and look at this trade. And I think the first thing to address is the emotions of it. That none of us want to see Adley go. That Adley is the face of the organization. And at least when Manny Machado was traded, we saw it coming. It was his final year. The Orioles sucked. It's not like we expected to make a run. Where here all season we've seen glimpses that, hey, maybe we can sneak into that wild card spot. And I think even if there were rumors of Adley, you didn't really think they were going to trade Adley.
No, and I have a couple questions for you, but before that, I think the Manny Machado comparison is apt because I think in that scenario, I think we were refusing to offer an extension to Machado, so it wasn't going to happen.
Right.
But we thought that we could put another good year together, similar to kind of this team where you thought you can put another good year together, but it
failed.
And it completely failed. And our return for Machado, I mean, all we got back
now,
that was valuable was Dean Kramer in the piece. And so
we now moved again.
Yeah, the return was much more significant, at least on paper,
no,
from what we got for Adley, because a year and a half of Adley is a lot better than just 6 months of Machado. So,
and we'll get to the return because I do think the Red Sox overpaid.
So in retrospect, with the Machado deal, we should have what we should have done is extended him, but the plan B should have been traded him when he had a year and a half left. So in that respect, I think this might be learning from past mistakes.
And remember what the final results of the Machado trade was firing the GM because it failed.
Right. And that might be where we end up here as well. Hey, let me ask you a couple questions.
It doesn't sound that way, but yes.
Yeah, I know. And I agree. This is like symbolically, it does feel like the end of what was the beginning of this new era of Orioles baseball.
Right.
And this is Mike Elias admitting that, and good for him, I guess, because I think the mistake is to have something broken and keep on trying to do it. Good for him for saying, okay, this is not, we need to shift things. But Elias is admitting that his whole rebuild thing is not working on his time schedule that he was anticipating.
Correct. Yeah, which will make the offseason, I don't want to jump to the offseason, but it'll make the offseason interesting because before Pete Alonso, he was hesitant to bring in outside help because he saw all these young people coming.
Yes.
Now when he sees the young reserves, that alone doesn't work. I'm curious to see if he addresses things differently this offseason.
Yeah. Well, already I think we're seeing a little bit of change. I don't know if it's in philosophy or something, but he was so focused on, college hitters and the bats, and like we'll figure out the starting pitching later. When a lot of these trades are for starting, pitching. I mean, we had a lot of starting pitching prospects to our system this past week.
Yeah, we did. I like the Orioles put out a welcome to Baltimore, and it was like 10 players, and we got a lot back.
All right, so let me ask you these just stupid scenario questions.
Yeah.
I want to ask, would the Adley-Rutschman trade have gone down if these couple things worked out a little differently?
Okay.
So my first one, would the Adley-Rutschman trade have gone down if Boston didn't overpay? Like, do you think we were shopping Adley, we'll take the best offer, or did Boston blow us away and that's the only way we did it?
No, I think, and Elias did say pre-trade that in order to trade Adley, it would have to take a haul, was his term.
Well, and he even admitted when we had added Rogers as the backup catcher that one of the reasons is he didn't know what would happen in the trade deadline,
right?
Implying that Adley could be moved.
Yes. And funny that they moved Rogers as well, but
I hope he enjoyed his time in Baltimore.
Yeah. So no, it would not have happened, and I think that's why I think the Red Sox sent so much that if I can take away fandom, and that's part of this whole conversation, is fandom versus analytics and front office, where we have a lot of people who aren't necessarily Baltimore fans. They want to put a winning team together, but doesn't love the orange and black like we do. We brought in a lot of front office people from outside. So that's a different mindset where I can say, if I'm just looking in an Excel sheet, the Red Sox paid 3 times what they should have paid for Adley. And how do you say no to that?
Right. And,
especially going into
if there was no lockout looming in the future.
No, because I don't think the Red Sox would have given up so much. The Red Sox made a determination that we need to go all out now.
Oh, I see. I was looking from a different perspective in that if let's say there's no baseball in 2027,
Yes.
heaven forbid. That means we would have gotten all those prospects just for a few months of Adley. I mean, Boston would just have a few months of Adley.
Right.
And miss out on that whole other year for Adley. So maybe
Right. That's
for
why I think-
Elias, there's motivation now because, we might not even have him for the full year next year.
Yes.
And then
but
we'll
I
get
also
nothing
think,
back for him.
I agree. But I also think that's why Boston overpaid and said, we need to win this year because next year might not happen. And that just means everyone gets older.
Okay. Next question. Do you think the trade would have gone down if we swept the Phillies?
Oh, you are narrowing it down to one series.
Yeah, because remember,
The
that-
trade. Oh, that's
that
a great
Tigers-
question.
that Tigers comeback was amazing to get 2 out of 3
Yes.
of the Tigers. And then we were riding that high. And then,
And it was we just came off the Braves where we lost 1-run games. Like it was tight games for a week before that.
Yep.
Oh, all right. But you want to bring it down to that one series. If we came out of that series, we would have been above 500 and we would have been within a half game of the wild card, if I've got that right.
That might be true. And it's not just that we lost. I mean, we won the first game. I think we came back
This
in that game of the
trade-
7th comeback. And then we got blown out. I mean, we lost 0-13 combined the next 2 games.
All right. If we swept the Phillies,
Yeah.
this trade would have still happened
Okay.
because Adley Rutschman was not on the field during this. So
Right.
you have that justification of he's been injured 3 times already this year. We can still make the push. The Red Sox are offering a haul. We'll make the push. And then the difference is if Adley would have still been traded, I think we might have brought someone in and made a move if we did win that series, sweep that series.
Okay. So Adley's traded, but then we also brought in pieces.
Yeah. So, because the state the Orioles are in, the best case for Elias would have been to sell Adley and make a big move in so it looks like we're not sellers. We might not be buyers, but we're not sellers, where you're like, you're selling Adley and you can make all the justifications because it makes total sense, but you're also still trying to win this year if you made a move.
Yeah, I mean that's what the Blue Jays did. The Blue Jays traded their expiring contracts like Rutschman, but then also traded for Jose Soriano from the Angels, gave us some prospects to get a guy who's going to be their starter for the next 3 years.
Well,
and so we could have addressed outfield.
Well, that's the simple answer. Is
Yeah.
the Ward trade would not have happened if we swept the Phillies.
Oh, really? I think the Ward trade still would have happened, but I would have liked to see. I don't know. That's true. I don't know if the Ward trade would have happened, but I would have
Because
liked
we
to see
didn't
the
get
Orioles
much
brought in.
back.
Yeah. Okay, how about this? What if we not just swept the Phillies? What if we were sitting solidly in a wild card spot? Do you still trade Adley at the deadline?
Probably not. Probably not.
All right, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Let's say would you trade Adley if, same scenario, everything's the same, except Samuel Basallo is not there? Is this trade about Basallo being the future everyday catcher?
100%. You don't make this move without Basallo there. If Basallo's not there, you are continuing to try to extend Rutschman.
Yeah. Okay, that brings me to my last one. Would
All right.
Adley have trade have gone down if it's Elias didn't come out right this and say this, but it's so easy to read between the lines that Adley Rutschman wasn't very interested in signing an extension. Clearly. Do you think if extension talks with Adley had any traction, like there was any possibility of an extension with Adley, do you think the trade still would have gone down? Or was this about Adley not wanting to re-sign? Understandably too, right? Like if Adley's going to be splitting time at catcher or whatever, he might not. He want to take this, and isn't he a Boris guy? So I might want to take it to.
I think he might be one of those guys that is not a Boris guy. Let me see.
We have so many Boris guys, I get confused.
Yeah, I know Holiday and Gunner, I believe, are Boris guys.
But clearly, the extension talks weren't happening.
No, he is represented by the team.
Okay. The Orioles.
No,
That sounds like a conflict of interest.
I know.
There.
The team. I don't think that's Boris's organization, though. Yeah, just sports agency, the team. Oh, see, it's a tough one because I don't think so, but I also don't think Adley wanted out of Baltimore. I think he wanted to let his contract play out and reach free agency.
Okay, yeah, fine. So if that's the case, and free agency, so let's say free agency hits, and you're Mike Elias, are you really? And I think you want to bring Rutschman back on a good deal, but let's say he doesn't want to take the team friendly deal like Bradish or Baz or Basilio did. He wants to take it to free agency, and now you have to. I mean, you saw what Boston paid in prospects, and you have to compete with Boston and the Yankees and all these other teams for a catcher that's gonna be a split catcher for you, and
Yeah.
they want them to be the full-time catcher. I have a hard time thinking that resource-wise, for a part-time catcher, we could compete with Boston and the Yankees.
No, and I
teams
think
in free
I think
agency.
it's more of that. The rumor is that Adley turned down 2 contract extensions this year. And I think the Orioles were lowballing him with the idea of split in time behind the plate. Because even post-trade, Elias commented that he wants Basilio to catch 80 games a year.
Right.
So he does not like the idea of a full-time catcher. He wants to split this time, which means you're not going to pay as much because you're going to say, hey, you're only there half the time. So I don't know. I would love to know what we offered at Rutschman,
Yeah.
but I can see him turning it down twice.
Yeah.
Kind of pushes the chips in one direction. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Can I ask one for you?
Sure.
If Gunnar Henderson, I'm putting this all on one player. If Gunnar Henderson had the kind of year he had last year, would Adley Rutschman have been traded?
Well, that goes back to if we're in a wild card spot, then probably.
100%. Because I think if Gunnar played like he did last year, I think that's the biggest
Or even more
hit
so
on this team.
2 years ago when he
Yeah, or 2 years ago. If Gunnar improved, this team not only is on a wild card spot, but maybe has division talk.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting. I was watching the Elias press conference after the trade.
I hate Elias press conferences.
I know he's terrible, but I think he's pretty transparent to his detriment sometimes.
No, he also just straight lies.
But he said, well, they asked him, like, are you going to address the team about all these trades?
Yes.
And his response was, yeah, I haven't really thought about it. I have
I
no
know.
plan on it. But then he ended up doing it with Albie and,
Right.
and addressing it.
Because
And-
he's a computer guy.
Right.
He's
yeah.
an analytics guy.
Right. Yeah. The personal interaction sometimes goes over his head. Poor guy. And that's fine. I don't really care that much about that stuff. But that's why you have a manager to have those
Yeah.
conversations. But I was curious, right? A little curious because Rutschman is beloved in that clubhouse, right?
Well, that's
He is
something.
close friends with people.
Well,
in
that's
that
what we love
clubhouse.
about this team is how tight they are as
Right.
friends.
They all kind of come up together.
Even
They're all very. they
even
all-
we all saw the story that Adley found out he was getting traded while going to the movies with Gunnar and Colton,
Yeah.
and apparently Ben McDonald was there too.
Oh, really?
Well, he was right. Adley, Gunnar, and Colton were going to see Spider-Man,
Okay.
and I guess in the lobby,
There's another Spider-Man. They gotta stop making these Spider-Man movies.
in the
Okay.
lobby, they ran into Ben McDonald,
Oh, really?
who was going to see a different movie. What movie do you think Ben McDonald was going to see?
The Odyssey.
The Odyssey. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an easy one. There's only 2 gigantic
That's
movies
the only
out
movie
right
I
now.
could name. Yeah. But what were we talking about? I had a point I wanted to make, and now I got sidetracked here.
Elias. Post
Oh, yeah.
Elias addressing the team.
Yeah, I was curious with how the players would respond. And
Yeah.
to the players' credit, leading with Alonso, who's such a great team leader, to the team's credit, they're like, this is on us. Like, these trades, if we would have played better, these trades wouldn't have happened. And I think the Adley
Right.
Rutschman trade probably would have happened even if they did play better. But
I think so too, because you have Samuel Basilio.
yes, and because of all the other things, Josh. So let's
Yeah.
go real quick through the reasons to trade him.
But did you see Colton Cowser try to hold back tears?
Yeah,
He was
it's
pretty
sad.
upset.
I know, but again, and he recognizes this, so I'm not telling.
yeah.
Look in the mirror, right?
Right. And they all also know, like, this is part of the business.
Yeah,
Like, they'll see Adley in a month, and they'll hang out in the off season, and that's how it goes. This is the business. Adley goes. What do you think Adley's going to get offered a bigger contract, Baltimore or Boston.
Oh, Boston.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And now, I mean, let the bidding begin between, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox for him. But the reason this trade happens, I mean, every reason in the world, right? Like, we already have another catcher who's younger and locked up for the next 8 years.
Exactly.
It gives our roster more flexibility when we're not carrying 2 full-time catchers. When you trade him now, his trade value will never be better. He actually had a decent first half of the season after having a down 2 years, really. He was never going to sign an extension with us. And the injuries were starting to pile up now with this guy. So we can put other resources, like financial resources, into other areas that the team is going to need going forward in the next 2 or 3. So, like, all the reason in the world to trade him from a spreadsheet perspective.
Right. So my question for you is, why did we not expect this, even though there was speculation? And why does it hurt so bad when we knew it makes all the sense?
Well, I don't think it was. I mean, we were talking about this in the offseason, right? We were having discussions about trading Adley. So it's not like this came out of nowhere.
Right. It was more of, we can't believe they actually did it.
And because Kylie McDaniel, he tweeted this out, that teams, and I think this is the case with the Orioles, that teams set a high asking price, and almost always no one meets those, right? Correct. Like, you hear about teams, the asking price was high.
Right, we'll listen for anyone.
Yeah, this is a case where the asking price was actually met.
Right.
That was super high. And Elias, from his perspective, is sitting in the best possible position to make a trade. He's still got another year of control over Adley.
Yep.
They're competitive, so it doesn't like he doesn't need to make the trade. So it's not like Adley's going and let me just take the best offer. It's like, no, you got to blow me away or I'm not trading him. And Boston blew us away.
Yeah. Right. And now, because of all those reasons, I'm all right with this trade. It hurts because I think about when we first started this podcast long time ago. One thing we would talk about with baseball is how baseball does a horrible job marketing their players. Well, they've gotten better at that. And in Baltimore specifically, they pushed Adley Rutschman, where Adley Rutschman was the face of the Orioles. It was the Oriole Bird and Adley Rutschman.
Yeah.
And that is great. That's what baseball should be doing. But it sure does sting when you have to, when it's time to let that player go.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And there's probably a larger discussion to be made here, Josh, about mid to small market teams like the Tigers and the Orioles who give up their star players to larger market teams and why that happens.
Well, I think that all speaks to the lockout, which we'll have to talk about at some point.
Yeah, but not now.
Yeah. It makes me feel like it's the same thing when I tell people all the time. Cal Ripken Jr. will always be my favorite baseball player because his entire career he was on my home team.
I know.
My entire childhood, I got to cheer for him.
It makes my childhood favorite player, Mike Messina, a little bit more complicated.
Yes, it does. But it's also like I understand that Cal, a player in Baltimore the entire lifespan, will never happen again. Even if you
happened with Mike Trout, we're playing Mike Trout right now.
Yeah, Mike Trout's an odd spot because he has been in California his entire career, or what is it, Los Angeles now? I always want to call him the California Angels still, but he's been there his entire career. The team has sucked pretty much its entire time there.
Yeah, but
he stays. His agent has talked to him about going to bigger markets.
Yeah, I agree. It's a rarity, and it will continue to be a rarity to have players stay. Here are two opinions about the Adley thing that I just won't accept. And I'm hearing this, and I reject these opinions outright.
Okay.
Shut up if you're saying this.
I think there's a lot of stupid people who are... I'm sorry, my computer just buzzed, and it is a text message from someone who I haven't spoken to in months. And all it says is something about Adley. Oh, I'm definitely going to listen to the podcast about Adley trade. I don't know what to think. I feel sad. And I think that's how we all feel, is like just sad. Yeah. But there's a lot of people who are turning to hate. Lockenfora is turning this into the organization's so horrible. And I don't think that's the case.
I don't mind that take as much because, I mean, this was your attempted rebuild and you failed at it.
Right.
So I'm not there in my thoughts. I'm not screaming at Mike Elias, but I know Utah Street Report has been putting out some articles about, Elias being a failure.
Oh, and I think that's justified.
I support those takes.
Did
Mike Elias objectively has not achieved what he was set here to achieve.
Did I send you the article
playoff wins
from I think it was the New York Times where they?
Yeah, I can't open it because I don't have a subscription to the New York Times.
No, that article's free.
It wasn't free for me.
Oh, well, it was when I sent it. In that article, they are pretty blunt about Elias being a failure, and they say about our owner Rubenstein.
Yeah,
they say who apparently never watches ball games and thinks Mike Elias is this amazing GM.
Well, he got a promotion last year after they had a terrible year. Yeah,
exactly. So anyway, with the takes that you won't handle.
Yeah, one, and I just saw this prior to the show, is some guy. Doesn't matter. He has an Orioles podcast or something. I saw him on Facebook, saying, ultimately concluding this was a good trade because Adley Rutschman is not very good. Right?
Nope.
I reject that completely. And if you think Adley Rutschman's not good,
what are your expectations?
Well, have you been watching the catchers the Orioles have been throwing out there since Adley Rutschman's injury? So how can you watch the catchers that we've been throwing out there and still conclude that Adley Rutschman's not good? So I don't. These ideas that he is not a very good player or catcher anymore, I reject that wholeheartedly. Just look at his WAR over here. I mean, since he's been here, him and Gunnar have been our two best, highest WAR guys that they've been here.
Even this year, I think he's one of the top in WAR.
Yeah,
in baseball.
Catchers who can hit are hard to find, and his defensive metrics too are excellent. So yeah, the Boston Red Sox got a good catcher. I don't want to hear that. And the next take I don't want to hear is that we have now become a player development organization for other teams, kind of like the Tigers. I mean, kind of like the Pirates
or the Rays with pitching.
Yeah, but specifically like the Pirates who draft all these good players, and then by the time it comes to pay them, trade them away. So Adley, it comes time to pay him, we trade him. Gunnar, it comes time to pay him, we trade him. Every time one of these stars that we kind of develop becomes a free agent, we trade him. I reject that too, and maybe this is wishful thinking, but I mean, didn't we just sign Baz and Bradish and Basayo to extensions?
Yes.
Didn't we just sign Alonso to a huge contract? So I don't think we're going to be a super cheap organization. Elias said, and I believe him, that Rubenstein gave him no parameters in terms of budget. Like he was not at the trade deadline. He wasn't asked to cut budget or anything like that, and he could take on more budget if he didn't. Which why didn't you? But yeah, I don't think we're going to be just a kind of farm system for other teams.
No, that's why
I reject that too.
That's why I reject also that our window is closed, because we have this foundation of guys extended, as you just mentioned. So yeah, we have a timeline on Gunnar and Westberg and Holiday.
Yeah,
but you have chances to extend all those guys. You have time still. You have Bradish. You've got guys.
Yeah, that's what I wrote all my ramblings. One of the questions I asked myself that kind of went through is, does this team feel like we're still heading in the right direction? And I think about the Alonso signings. I think about the extensions of every Oriole player who has the last name that starts with a B, with Baz and Bradish and Basayo.
Right.
I think about, one of the criticisms has been, we can't develop starting pitching. And I think about Brandon Young, what he's done this year. And then I think about how we have some really good young pitchers who are now on the way. If you look at our top 30 prospects, or the top 15 prospects, I think about 8 of them are pitchers.
Yeah.
Outfield, the whole outfield experience has been a nightmare with Cowsert, Kerstedt, Bradfield, even like Vance Honeycutt. It's just been a disaster in the outfield. We need to do something about that. But
I'm liking what I'm seeing about Beavers. I think Beavers might work out.
And if you look at it, Josh, in terms of, I also looked up players who are 25 years old or younger. So these are the youngest players in baseball, 25 or younger. We got a whole crop: Basayo, Holiday, Mayo, Beavers, Gunnar. Just in the hitting side, we have a bunch of players who are still developing and still young.
Look Look at Kate Povich last night.
Yeah.
He had to come out and make a statement, and he did.
Yeah. And we do have, it's interesting to watch too, and unfortunately it's not going to be for another couple of years, but there's like 3 really interesting, intriguing center field prospects in Nate George, the guy we just traded for Endy Ozakar,
right,
and Eric Booth Jr., who we just drafted. Now they're probably all 2 or 3 years away, but
that's the question: is what do we do until then?
Right, and we don't want to be this team that's perennial. Oh, we got prospects. We've seen how that works. We've seen how that works. You need major leaguers here. But all that to say is, it feels like the pitching is in a pretty good place this year and going forward. We need to do something with the outfield, but we still have the same core infield, right? Of Westbrook when he comes back, Mayo, Gunnar, Holiday, Alonso. These guys aren't going anywhere in the next couple of years. Right.
But, and we have to look at that, when we're looking at that farm system, we just got a ton of stuff from the Red Sox. They're number 2, they're number 4, they're number 5 or 6.
Who becomes our number 1, right?
Right, who becomes our number 1. Maybe your number 1 and 2 might be in that mix. Like, we got good arms from them. So there's plenty of excitement there. I think it's the emotions tied to Adley being the face of the organization that hurts. And in a similar way, it's not Adley's fault, but just like when Matt Wieters was caught up, we celebrated. And it was the next coming. Matt Wieters is here. This organization's going to turn around. Same thing. We did the same exact thing with Adley Rutschman. Now, Adley Rutschman was a 1-1 and a higher prospect. But because
similar
of that,
expectations, yeah.
Similar expectations where we thought one player was going to change the direction of this team.
Yeah, it's just really hard. It's really hard to repeatedly be competitive.
You have to
get lucky with injuries. You have to have depth. You have to have all these things.
And
players develop.
You're asking 26 guys to all play pretty good at the same time.
Yeah. Hey, there's a couple interesting questions just posed in blogs and articles recently that I thought we could address. This speaks to that comment. This is from the Baltimore Banner. The headline of the article was, Mike Elias just traded away the symbol of his own rebuild. Why should Oriole fans trust him anymore? Josh, where are you at in terms of Mike Elias trust? And then maybe we can get to there were other trades too at the deadline.
Whether it's right or wrong, I did enjoy that on Twitter, that the response all over the place was, I would see the Orioles lift off, and then it's a video of the Challenger exploding. And whether that's wrong, I think it's been enough years that it's okay. And I find the humor that the cause of that was the O-ring. So
Elias will never utter the words liftoff again in his life.
Yes, he will never say liftoff, because even when he said liftoff, we were like, all right, are we really liftoff? Because you didn't sign a pitcher. We were still concerned. And liftoff never happened. We never got liftoff. So, yes, whether you want it or not, Adley Rutschman was the face of your rebuild, and you failed. And now it's up to you to prove it. You got my attention this offseason with the Pete Alonso signing. That's a huge move.
Yeah. I think the extensions are very significant too.
I think the extensions are huge.
That wasn't happening under Duquette or even Vail. That wasn't happening.
Whether that's on Elias or ownership, whatever. We've got new owner. We've got Elias with new GM. It's so much different than Angelos and Duquette. And all that is good signings. Alonso, the extensions, all good signings. Now prove to me that we can win. So I'm not going to fire Mike Elias, but because everyone, things fail. But I have a lot of questions. I have questions for Mike Elias. How do we make our strength and conditioning better? How do we I know everyone's got injuries, but how do we get things better? How do we get more consistent? I've noticed this team, and it might be a Craig Alberniz move, but this team this year, more than any team I've ever seen, has been doing, any Orioles organization I remember, has been doing pregame infield drills over and over and over again. I see it all the time where instead of, even when we were in Detroit, instead of batting practice, it was defense. Yet this is one of the worst defensive teams I've seen. The Orioles defense this year is costing them games all the time. So how do you fix that? Is it on coaches? How do you fix the injury issue? Is it strength and conditioning? How do you fix the lack of production? Is it lineup construction? Is it we stop using analytics? Is it let Holiday play every day? How do you do this? There's things now where you get the players. Huh?
Holiday plays every day now.
He does now.
Yeah.
But he wasn't before.
Fair enough.
So how do you fix that? And I think that's where there's a lot of questions. And then going into this offseason, all right, the rebuild didn't work the way you planned. Everyone has hiccups and problems. How do you address it? How do you bounce back? That's what I want to see this year.
Yeah. I wonder how much the injury tends to be like players too. Like you see players repeatedly get injuries.
Right.
And so I think one answer to that is get rid of these players. And that's what he did with Grayson Rodriguez, right? He said, all right, get out. And Grayson Rodriguez, by the way, looked really good.
Yeah, he looked pretty good.
Us, which of course he did. It's terrible every game.
But also you gotta know he comes in with that extra motivation.
Yeah. So good for him. That's a good situation. He pitched well and he still lost. I like to see that.
Yeah, I like that.
So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to. I still think Elias is great at trades. He's done so much for the organization in terms of developing internationally.
We built that. We've got that Dominican facility that just opened up.
Yeah, we know he can build a strong farm system.
Right.
But he was he got this team to 100 wins. He got this team to an AL East title.
Yeah, but so did Dan Duquette.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just luck into it.
Yeah. The question is, can you extend this thing? And so, yeah, it doesn't, for me, Josh, it doesn't feel like we're not rebuilding here because we just signed all those guys to extensions.
Right. There's no rebuild.
Which is why I would have liked to see us make a move for a guy with some control going for next year, because it seems like we have a couple of needs to address going forward into next year.
Right.
And so you would like to see him address some of the deadline. But it just feels like we're retooling. And we can still be competitive. I just when Kramer came back off injury, all the other pitchers, Bradish and Rogers, were hitting their stride. Baz, it feels like Holiday's now playing a lot better. It feels like, I don't know, can we just run this back from the beginning again? And I think we'd be okay. It's just been a really. I still think this year I'm in it. Like I'm watching the game. No. I still think we can make a playoff spot.
If we get Basallo back in this lineup, we can make that push. So yeah. That's where it's weird because it hurts losing Adley, and I was angry at first, but it makes sense and it doesn't really affect this year.
Yeah, and that pitcher who's now our number one prospect, he could be up as early as next year, so he could be helping our rotation as early as 2027.
Right, that's huge.
And if you look at his numbers, man, that kid is dominating Double-A.
Mike, don't say this guy's going to be up, so we're fine.
You just call me Mike.
No, I'm talking to Mike Elias.
Oh, I thought you were making you forgot what podcast you were on for.
Oh, no, I didn't think about that. No, I'm talking to Mike Elias. I'm saying, we've gone too many years of saying the cavalry's coming.
Oh, now, yeah, I know. That's why I'm not putting all my hopes on, Nate George or Eric Booth.
Right.
Yeah.
No, go get us an outfielder. Pitching. And you know what? Work something out with Trevor Rogers.
Oh, Josh, why wasn't Trevor Rogers is on a final year of his deal? I'm fascinated by this.
Oh,
and I love it so much. Why wasn't Trevor Rogers traded?
It has to be contract negotiations.
But he said earlier that there was no talk.
I know. And Trevor Rogers has came out and said, I'm not dealing with any of that until the offseason. He goes, if my agents want to, but I'm not doing anything until the offseason.
And it sounds like the Orioles hadn't really approached him either.
Well, it sounds like they haven't because he said not to.
I don't know.
So but at the same time, he's pitching well enough this year to turn down a qualifying offer and make money this offseason.
Yeah, so that's my thing. The qualifying offer will be for $22.5 million or something for 1 year. And so for the Orioles' perspective, if he turns that down, you get a compensation, a back of the first round draft pick.
But you don't want that. You want Trevor Rogers.
Right. But I'm saying trade deadline wise, I wonder if whatever they were offering, they thought, oh no, the prospect we would get back from a first round comp pick would be better than what that team is offering.
Agreed. There's some of
think
that.
Trevor Rogers is one of the most underappreciated starting pitchers in all of baseball. And it sounds like Elias was with me, and Elias realizes what he has compared to what other teams are willing to give him for him.
I think the qualifying offer is an option, but I think there's at least been conversations of, I'd like to stay here. My client's happy here. Let's talk as soon as the season ends.
Rogers says all the great things about Baltimore, how happy he is to be here. And we helped turn his career around.
I think it's a combination of, you have to take that qualifying offer, a draft pick into account. But I really think it's, hey, we're going to be considerate with this player and wait till the offseason like he requests. And I think as soon as the offseason starts, we extend Trevor Rogers. Yeah. I think we don't even get to the qualifying offer point. But if something fails and we can't, well, then we can fall back on that qualifying offer. But I think Trevor Rogers gets extended first thing.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different, the reasons. I think, and I have no kind of reason to say this, but Rogers' performance has been such up and down. He's been at times the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, you don't know what he's worth.
So I think from Elias' perspective, like, am I paying for an ace or am I paying for a back end arm? Like, what am I? And so I'm fascinated to see how much he even signs for by us or by someone else. Do you pay for his kind of how good he's been at moments?
Well, that's why I think you get a 2 to 3 year extension nailed down without even addressing the qualifying offer.
Yeah, I love Rogers, and I hope we extend him.
Me too.
And that would put 3 good pitchers under contract, and then I think you can fill in the gaps with some of these young pitchers we have coming up.
Do you think we extend another player before the end of the season?
Josh, do you think this spells the end? What about Gunnar?
That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. Your next extensions, the extensions everyone's looking for is Gunnar and Holiday.
Yeah, Gunnar comes up before Holiday, so Gunnar
comes
first
up before.
Then
so that's the one everyone's waiting on. But Gunnar is a Scott Boras client. I think the Orioles are intrigued to do it now because Gunnar's having a down year. And the timing's right for they don't want to go into be in this situation next year like they are with Adley this year.
Yeah, I mean, Gunnar has...
But I can't see Scott Boras allowing any agent to sign on a down year.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for Gunnar to sign on a down year.
You think they just knock on his door and say, unless you should sign an extension or we're going to have to trade you away, you're going to have to say bye to Colton, bye to Jordan, unless you sign this paper.
Yeah, he has this year and then 2 more years under contract. So you have 2.5 years.
Yes. Yeah. You've got time.
Yeah.
Next year, he's in the Adley Rutschman situation.
Right.
Next year's trade deadline, same exact situation.
Right. But what makes him so intriguing, even more so as Adley, is the age thing, right? So he's 20. He just turned 25.
Yeah, he's younger.
Right. So he'll be a free agent when, he's 28?
Right.
And I mean, that's a 28-year-old free agent gets paid.
Right. And a Scott Boras client gets paid.
Yeah.
So you want to get if Mike Elias wants to get people off his back and get them to forget that he just traded away the face, you extend Gunnar Henderson immediately.
Yeah. But if you can't, Josh, doesn't add. Okay, so we made the playoffs twice with Adley, but unable to take the next step.
Yeah.
Isn't there added pressure now with Gunnar? And Gunnar needs to play better, first of all.
Yeah. Gunnar's having a horrible year.
Isn't there added pressure to, like, while Gunnar's here,
yes,
we need to win. Like, we can't push this thing out any further. Like, we got to win the next 2 years.
Right, because the face of this organization quickly shifts to Gunnar.
Yeah. And if we repeat this, if we have the same conversation next year, let's say we're having a down year next year.
Then we're a farm system team.
And Gunnar is freaking on a hot streak and we trade Gunnar and the haul back is unbelievable. Yeah. Then we're having the conversation the Pirates fans have where we're just a farm system for other teams and we can't extend into our own superstars.
Right. So I think you have to be talking to Scott Boras. You have to be working something out. And you're going to pay more than what you want to pay this year for Gunnar because you're not going to get him on a deal because he's having a down year because nobody believes this is the real Gunnar Henderson this year. Yeah. Now, that being said, we've been saying all season, Gunnar's going to hop out of this. And I've never seen it last this long where he cannot get out of it.
But this
And
happens to players all the time. Kyle Tucker's terrible. Kyle Riley's terrible. Like, players are bad for whole years. Vlad Guerrero's having a real down year. Like, players are bad for a whole year.
Right.
So it's not like what's happening with Gunnar has never happened to another baseball player before.
Go get him some new ADHD medicine.
Is that the deal?
Well, that was the Chris Davis thing.
It never really worked out.
No.
It never tried that. It didn't really work.
No. Yeah. So I guess so we're on the same page where emotionally it hurts, but we understand it. The Adley trade.
Yeah. And now kind of what comes next. And that's where my other article headline was from Steve Molesky. And his title of his article was, After the Rutschman deal, where do the Orioles go from here?
It does. As far as this season, it doesn't change anything with this season. We still have to fight and try to get into that wild card spot.
Hey, this Franklin guy is kind of intriguing. This new outfielder we got from the Nationals.
Yeah, did he played last night, right?
Yeah, it was his major league debut last night. And he's speedy. He got on base.
Yes.
And so I'm intrigued by him.
It makes you not need to pick up Jorge Mateo off waivers.
Oh, is he
you've
put
got a
on
little
waivers?
speed. Yeah, he got released yesterday.
Oh, Jorge. He was off to a hot start too.
Yep.
And it makes you not, I mean, the guy who should have been brought up when Ward was traded was either Kerstedt or Enrique Bradfield Jr.
Right.
And I think it says something about them two that Elias is like, no, let me get this AAA player from the Nationals and bring up here instead.
Right.
That's an indictment against those two guys.
It is. Unfortunately, it is.
And he doesn't feel
we
they're
thought
ready.
Bradfield would be ready by now. And Kerstedt's a whole different story.
Yeah. Kerstedt was hot too for a minute. And then I saw it was like 1 for his last 22 in the past few games.
Yeah.
It's like, darn it, Rutschman,
And
come on.
Things like, I'm not giving up on. It's not as we said before, it's not a trade that means the season's over.
No, I'm still locked in. We're still what, a couple and a half games, 3 games maybe. What are we at with the wild card?
Out of the wild card?
I think our playoff chances on Fangraphs are somewhere around 15%, which I'm like, all right.
No, Matt. When we traded Adley, how many games back were we?
I feel like we're always two and a half. I feel like that's what we always are.
Today we are 1.5 games back.
Oh, really? After yesterday's win?
Yeah, last night's win. I guess teams ahead of us lost.
Yeah.
So we are 1.5 games back. We have the Texas Rangers, who we play this weekend ahead of us.
Well, Josh, that's the other thing about the deadline. Look at the we got Braves, Tigers with Skubal even.
Oh, we had a tough July.
And then the Phillies, kind of a gauntlet. And then after that, it's these lesser teams who were fighting. So you almost wish, could we have flipped them? And I think we might have been in a different spot if we were playing the Angels and the Rangers.
That's the thing.
Before the deadline.
July, everyone talked about the Boston Red Sox having an amazing July and the best record in baseball in July. But did you see where the Orioles July ranked in Major League Baseball?
Yeah, pretty good.
Second
Second
best record in July. And that was playing all those tough teams.
Yeah.
So now we have the Angels, who we should be able to sweep the Angels. They're not good.
Yeah.
But we only put up 3 runs yesterday. And our offense always concerns me. But we've got Rogers today and Brandon Young tomorrow. I've been really happy with how Young looks.
Oh, Young. What are we? Something like 18-5 or something in the games that he starts. We have an incredible record in games.
Well, he is 8-2 alone.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
because the opposite of Baz. We put up runs when Brandon Young pitches.
And we don't make errors like we do with Baz.
Right, but that means we've got Bradish and Baz to kick off in Texas this weekend. After that, we go to Minnesota. Again, a team that's right ahead of us in the wild card. Like I just mentioned, we're 1.5 games back. Texas is 1 game back. Minnesota is 1 game back. And we play both of those games.
Yeah, it's going to be wild.
So that's 6 games where it's like people that want to give up on this year, we could be in a wild card spot in a couple days.
Yeah, I know.
This weekend.
Which, again, makes me a little frustrated that Elias didn't do more. Again, buy, sell, and buy. You can do both.
Well, he must feel really good about this Nationals outfielder because that's where we needed help.
I know. I wanted the other Nationals outfielder, Jacob Young, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's all right. I know we've gone almost an hour on just Adley.
I know.
But we need to cover real quick. That's why the Ward trade stings me a little bit. Because I'm not impressed with the return. I really enjoyed Ward, and outfield has been a struggle.
Yeah, I guess I'm with it with both these deals. I was listening to the On the Verge podcast
Yeah.
because I want to hear their perspective on the
On the
on the
prospects.
prospects and how they framed it. Kind of makes a little bit of sense in my mind. Like, and this is because I don't understand the Wells trade.
The Wells trade makes no sense to me,
Yeah,
except for this. Wells has never gotten up to Wells' potential. We saw flashes where he could be a good starter. We've never gotten up to that. And this season alone, he's given up a lot of long balls late in games.
right. So, but from the Verge perspective, I thought that was a good point. If you take the Wells trade, you're trading a year and a half of Wells, and if
Yes.
everyone's healthy for the Orioles, he is a middle reliever.
Right.
And potentially back, you're getting back Michael Ferret, who they view as maybe a fourth starter, third, fourth, fifth. And if you get a starter back for the next
True.
5 years compared to, a year and a half of a middle reliever, that's a trade you'll take all day, every day. Now, I think of Wells as a back end bullpen guy. I don't know, but you're right. If Batista was here,
Well, and
if Helsley was here,
have you seen the update on Batista?
well, he's throwing now again, right?
He's throwing to live batters now.
Yeah, I'm shocked by that whole
So
thing.
that means they are planning on him back by the end of August.
Yeah, which would be great going into next year.
Yeah.
Also, Blaze Alexander going to be coming back
But
soon,
not going into next year. You could have Batista in September in the back end.
I don't know. I'm still skeptical of that. I mean, he had like rotator cuff surgery, or his shoulder. I don't know.
Right labrum and then rotator cuff.
Yeah, that sounds like, I don't know if you can go back and pitch in high leverage situations after that. I don't know, but we'll
I
see.
hope so, because we could be in a wild card spot next week.
But the similar thing with Ward, if you can trade half a year of Ward and get back, really, we got back 3 or 4 bullpen pieces. If
Yeah.
one of those guys turns into, and they can all throw 100. If one of those guys turns into a bullpen piece for the
Yeah.
next 5-6 years, and those guys, the reason I kind of do like the Ward trade is all those bullpen guys are like
They
guys
throw
that
hard.
can throw hard, and they're all like 25, 26.
Oh,
they're
so next year.
Yeah, they're gonna be here next year.
Or
Some
even
of them-
September.
Yeah, they're gonna be this year and next year. They're not 18-year-old guys from the
Okay.
Florida Gulf Coast League. So I'm actually better with the Ward trade
All right.
because we need bullpen help, and I think those 4 guys, if 1 or 2 of them work out, it's a good trade.
I'm okay with all that then.
And the Dean Kramer
Because
is the last trade.
I've been hating on Kramer all year.
Yeah, because we hate people who are just exceed expectations throughout their
He
entire
did not
life.
exceed
career.
expectations.
He did, Josh. He was the throw-in with,
no
with
point.
the Machado deal.
At no point this year did he deserve to be a starter.
Okay, Josh, if you look at his career with the Orioles, he was an average good starter.
Average, yes.
Yes. Do you know how many MLB pitchers would kill to have Dean Kramer's career? I mean, the Twins, who are also in a playoff run, were willing to trade for Dean Kramer because they need a 5th starter on their team. I don't know why. Everyone can't be Bradish and Garrett Cole.
How'd
and
Dean
Paul
Kramer do?
Skeens. You
How'd
need
Dean Kramer
guys
do
like Dean
against the
Kramer.
Tigers last week?
Okay, yeah, he's had a rough season. I'm not
Okay.
disputing that.
All right.
But if you look at his whole career with the Orioles, it's been a really respectable career that he should be proud of.
It's been a
And-
respectable career. Yes.
And for Josh, in the midst of how much we talk about, and I know he's injured this year, but prior to this, he's reliable, stable. We had so many. I mean, we had guys coming in. We had old men coming into our rotation. We had injuries. And
Yes.
Kramer was that stable guy the past
He
5
is-
years. I don't know why you're dismissive of that.
All right, Dean Kramer has been a stable, low 4 ERA pitcher for the Orioles for many years.
Yes.
This year he was 6.7, something like that, much higher. I've been hating on Dean Kramer all year because I see potential in Brandon Young. I see potential in Cade Povich, and Dean Kramer took opportunities away.
Well, I hate to say it, Josh, but I know Povich got the start, but the main reason I think he was traded is because we got the 50-year-old Bassett who's coming back here in a
Yes.
in a
Bassett's
week or
coming
2.
back soon too,
Yeah, so
which hopefully that's good.
yeah. So the Kramer thing, this is the perfect kind of you can sell without hurting your team. Really,
Right.
It's not a huge setback,
And that's how the
And you
Wells
save-
trade is kind of too.
Yeah, and you save some money as well as he's getting up in the arbitration years, and you get an intriguing like wild card in the 18-year-old guy who has a lot of skill and
Yeah.
talent. So yeah, I'm okay with the Kramer trade. But again, I don't want to hear this. Kramer's terrible. Kramer sucks. Yeah, he's
No,
gone.
I know. He's fine.
He was a
He was
much
fine.
needed solid arm in a rotation for the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. 171 innings last year.
Yeah, come on now. Who
30
else got? Did he lead the
36
team in
this year.
innings? Like, who else? No one else got
I don't
close
know.
to
I don't
that.
have the whole team. I just have Kramer's stats in front of me. 171, 129, 172, 125 the past 4 years. No, he's been solid. He's been fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, I hate on Kramer more because you love Kramer so much.
I mean, last year, pitching the most games last year, and pitching 31 games last year. You go to the next season, he's there too, pitched in 24 games the year before. So he's just, and you look at some of the names that ran through here in terms of pitching over the past, 5 years. The year before that, pitched in 32 games, and every year 4.12, or right around there every single year. So
Yeah.
I mean, would you rather have at this point Grayson Rodriguez's career or Dean Kramer's career?
No. Dean Kramer. Dean Kramer. I got you.
All right.
And I'm glad we were able to move him and make room.
Yeah.
So isn't that the problem? Is that the Orioles are in it. We gained a game. We're 1.5 games out of the wild card. All these moves on paper look like huge trades and great moves that Mike Elias made.
Yeah, we got good value for it seems like every guy we traded.
Because you got rid of the emotional face of your rebuild, Adley Rutschman, everyone is going to hate on you.
Yes.
And stupid people are going to say, that means the season's over. That means the rebuild's over. Well, yes, the rebuild's over. But now that doesn't mean you start this thought that once the rebuild's over, you start rebuilding from scratch again. The whole point is to never go through a rebuild ever
That's
again.
been Elias's whole thing since he got here.
Is we'll
that
never
we're gonna
rebuild
build
again.
Yeah, we're never going to do it again. We're going to build a sustainable winning team every year.
And we are there.
Yeah, this is not the
Being 1.5
the Marlins win tank. No, that's not what we're doing.
A disappointing season and still 1.5 games out of wild card is exactly what we've been talking about.
I know, but Josh, do you think Elias did he try to upgrade the current roster in a significant way?
Pete
or was
Alonso.
he just selling? No, I'm saying at the trade deadline. At the trade deadline. Do you think he made attempts to get another pitcher or another outfielder? Or did he not even try?
I think he sees. He did not buy into this year, because to truly be a buyer means you're getting a rental. You're grabbing
but you get a guy under. I mean, Franklin was a bit of a buyer move. He traded a younger prospect for Franklin.
Franklin's a little bit of a buyer move, but to be a true buyer, you're buying someone to help your team this year. And I don't think he did that. I think what he did is he made moves that won't hurt us much this year and will allow us to bounce back immediately next year and fix some of the issues for next year.
All right. I just hate our center field play. And I looked at the free agency list for next year, and there's no good center fielders there. So I don't know how we're gonna address. But I think
that's why he could. That's part of the problem is how do you buy a center fielder when no one's trying to get rid of center fielders?
Yeah, I know. And I think just maybe Cows will work out, and Cowser, like the good thing, like if you brought in a center fielder, Cowser would be out of here or would not be getting playing time.
Right.
But Cowser, Franklin, Beavers. They're gonna have a run. They're gonna have a runway here to show what they can do in 2026.
Yeah, and then we can make moves, and that's the one criticism I saw some people about the Adley trade is, well, if you waited till the offseason, more teams would be interested.
Not true.
Not to give you a haul like that.
Yeah, you would never get this good of a deal at any other point.
The best. That's you talk about trading on a high. That was the Adley Rutschman move.
I don't think if you had traded him last year, I don't think you would have gotten that. Because you had a down year.
It was perfect time. And you had to do it while the Red Sox were hot and believed they could win this year.
Yeah.
Because they could still implode too.
I mean, they just swept the Dodgers.
I know.
And
I want to talk lockout, but we're going to have to do that next week because we've already passed an hour.
Yeah. All right. I got some thoughts on the Dodgers too, but
Yeah.
save that for next year.
We'll do that next week. We'll
I mean,
try
next
to.
week.
Yeah, let's try to do a show actually week to week.
All right. Yeah, I think it's a good goal for us. I'm glad I got all these
Especially
Rutschman's thoughts out.
Especially since we could be wild card spots.
Yeah, man.
Spot
Yeah,
by our next show.
Yeah, this is. You need to put the standings up. We need to do the video and put the standings up in between us so I can see that excitement in this wild card race. It's going to be hopefully a fun couple months here.
Yep.
So
1.5 games, and what are we? I think that makes us 6.5 behind the Red Sox.
Yeah.
But
well, right now, let's just get that
the wild card
spot, and then we can go from there.
Then you just got to beat them in a series.
Yeah. All right, and I think we got the starters to do it. Can you imagine, though, facing Adley in the playoffs?
I know. I'm dreading facing Adley in a month from now.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about this much, but it does. I mean, this would feel different, Josh, if we went to the Brewers or the White Sox. It feels a lot
100%
that it was Boston.
Yeah, that's why Machado to the Padres. All right, fine. We faced Machado.
Dodgers and the Padres,
this year was Machado's first trip back to Camden Yards.
Is that true?
I believe
Can't
so.
Be true.
I think that is true.
Oh, that's wild if that's true. But no, we'll be seeing Adley all the time, which is unfortunate. So, all right. Good discussion. I hope this helped you.
By the way, I'm an idiot. It's in 2019 he returned to Camden Yards.
Okay, that sounds better.
Yeah, but I guess he hasn't in a while.
Because they go through the divisions, right?
And they do every other year. Yeah, because they play everyone every other year. So I'm an idiot. It was probably 2 years ago.
All right, good. I like it. We can end the podcast on the note that Josh is an idiot.
Yep,
I like that.
That's how it goes.
All right. Well, I hope we helped you process this whole Adley Rutschman trade as we kind of process this together. And we'll process this wild card race here at the last couple months of the season together too each week.
Yeah. And is it time to put all my Adley stuff on eBay?
Oh no, I was gonna get a trash can and start burning it. Is that a thing where they get traded and you get mad or is that just free agency when they leave free agency?
I think that's free agency. I think if they trade, it's not the player's fault.
Okay. All right. I just want to burn something though.
Well, let's see how the rest of the season goes.
Yeah. No, you keep those bobbleheads. They're keepsakes. Yeah. You think he goes into the Hall of Fame as an Oriole or as a Red Sox? We'll have that discussion later.
If he has, the answer is the Red Sox.
Stop. The answer is whatever team he signs with after.
Yeah, the true answer is whatever's next.
Or whatever team he wins a championship with.
Because in order to be a Hall of Fame player, he's got to play better than he played for the Orioles. But he will be in the Orioles Hall of Fame because they let anyone in.
Yes. I think that's a separate discussion. I think he might be on track, Josh, if he continues.
You think he's on track?
I think he's on track.
I'd have to look at the numbers.
All right. Me too. All right, boys and girls. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys have a good week. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter and all your social media platforms. You can follow Josh on X.
@Josh Soroka.
Thanks for listening, boys and girls. And as always, go O's.